Hey guys, it's the day after the run for the big cookie yesterday with the gasifier running mighty 6-cylinder generator. And I'm going to do a little autopsy today on the final filter, which is that PeeStone filter which I had made. And inside that 5-gallon bucket right there is filled up with PeeStone and a kind of a filter arrangement in there to grab the last of it and hopefully condense the water before it gets to the engine. So it was quite a run yesterday. The best I can do right now is I've got a couple of clean paper towels that I will do a swab test on the inside of the inlet and the outlet pipe on there, and I'll show you what it looks like there. Right at the very end of the run yesterday, it started to show moisture in the gas line. So I had just about run out of fuel. It was starting to backfire, and it was bridged and all that. So I think that had a lot to do with anything else. The temperature shot right up from 500 up to about 675, so it was starting to pull in a lot of, it was really hot and it was pulling in a lot of outside air, which of course has a lot of humidity in it. So I think that's probably where it was all coming from, because there wasn't that much fuel left in it and it was baked. So let me give you a little swab test on that, and then I'm going to pop the cap on that filter, and I have to do it slowly because everything is attached on the inside. See if I can't just get some stone to dribble out of there. We'll take a look at the condition, then I'll be able to lift the whole thing out and see what's in there. I have not been able to drain any water out of it. I got a little petcock on the bottom of it that you can see there, but I haven't had any water come out of that. The water in the rest of the filters that was drained out earlier this morning was the typical, colored tea stain kind of look. I didn't see any signs of tar or anything. So let's do a little test on that and see what we got. There's a clean towel on that. This is the inlet side. This would be coming from the filters. Okay, that's the swab of that. We do have some dark. It's more like soot. I had some on my finger earlier. It washes right off, so that's just high velocity soot that's getting through everything there. Like I said, that's quite a draw on that yesterday with that 6-cylinder, considering that this thing is meant to be running 1 and 2-cylinder engines. So that's that side. I'll show you what the there we start off with clean. That barely shows up about the same thing. So it was getting through there, but not as bad as the other one. So I'm gonna pause out while I get this top cracked open, and then we'll come right back into it. Okay, so we got the top popped loose there. I'm gonna start pouring it into this little container right here. I'll move the camera around, see if we can't get a shot of what it's looking like down in there when it's coming out. Okay, well, it's really moist. There's no real liquid water in it yet because it hasn't settled out, but all that's pretty wet. So it was doing its job. It was condensing the water until it got totally saturated. And at the end of the run yesterday, this filter was getting pretty warm. So I suspect at that point the dew point had been reached. There was no place for it to go into the filters here. They were all, or into the gravel or the PeeStone, and it was pretty well saturated, and it just went right straight through to and started condensing in the line. So that's when I caught it. That's when I shut it down. But under normal conditions, I'll bet this would go quite a long time, and it wouldn't be too much to, you know, build another one and cascade it into you know, another filter for the last of it. And it still breathes well. The manometers work the same as they were without it. So you know, it's one more thing to add on there that seems to work. So anyhow, that's where we are. When I put this back together, I just put it back together all empty, and I use a shop vac at one end over at the front there, and I just put the shop vac right on that and just add handfuls on the intake side until it's all filled up. Then I roll it around, get all the voids filled up, and do it again. So I don't know, it looks pretty good to me. So that's it. I don't see any signs of tar. I'm going to move this stuff around in here a little bit. I don't see any tar at all, so that's a good thing. Moisture, yes, but that's what it's designed to do. You got kind of like tea stain, that's about it. And that comes right off. I think some of it just from the color of it. I didn't wash the stone before I put it in there. And I think some of the color of it is just, you know, the real fines that are in there, because it's kind of bright. I probably have one more thing to add on the condition of the filter here. This used to be a paper filter out of a piece of equipment, and I cut it along the seam here, and I pulled out all the paper that was in there because it was getting clogged up pretty early in the game here, and I filled it with this fiber fill instead. And I'm really thinking that was probably the best thing I could have done. I'm going to open this up in a minute, undo the twine there and pull that out and inspect it. I did not wash the fines out of the gravel, out of the PeeStone when I put it in there. I just got done rinsing out all the PeeStone in there. No signs of tar at all, nothing. And there was no black came out of it, but it was just a lot of real fine stuff. So if you're going to use this, make sure you wash it out. I've washed it 6 times so far, and it's getting pretty well cleared up now. But you can see there's still a little bit just a little bit left in there, so I'll keep doing it for a couple more times. Or it might be a good idea to try to figure out some kind of a screen to run that through. This is supposed to be 3/8 stone, so you'd have to get a pretty fine screen to lay it out on and wash it all through to get that stuff out of there, because you don't want that grit going through your engine. So I'm hoping that idea that I had the other day, or when I put this thing together last year with that fiber fill in there, was enough to trap it. I don't feel any grit on the inside on the intake here to the engine, but you know, it's got to pay attention to that stuff. So it's an afterthought now, but if you're going to be interested in doing that, please make sure that you wash that gravel out so that you get rid of all the dust and the fine stuff in there. Okay, here's a look. I just opened up the clean out, and it got pretty hot, and it welded the gasket material right to the side there. So I'm probably going to have to replace that before I do anything else. That was just that high temp silicone, and it delaminated itself from everything, so I had a hard time getting the door open. But I don't know if I don't think I warped it, but it's still a pretty close fit. But anyhow, here's the results of the charcoal, and it's ranges from anything like coffee grain stuff to the larger little chunks that go down to the outside. They'll roll off the top of the hill. I have, from most of the runs this spring or summer anyhow, 5-gallon pail. I just filled it. That's full. And I still have some left in here for, I still have a little bit left in here for the insulation factor. And the grate is really looking cleaned out. Yeah, that took it, but it's not warped. And it's looking pretty fair underneath there. But it sure got warm. So anyhow, it's all looking good. There are the side vents to help move the char out of there. Everything is still working. So that part seems to be working all right. So we've got some stuff left over to start the fire with the next time. We'll put this in the garden, and everything will like growing in that. Okay, over and out.